Welcome back to Carman Conversations. In this season, we're all about used cars and the used car centre. And this episode's a really interesting one. I'm looking forward to this one. Lauren, talk to me.
We're talking about valuations today, Luke. We have touched on the topic a few times in the previous episodes of the season, but I wanted to do an episode solely focused around it because it's a huge part. This is one of my
favourites.
Is it?
This is one of my favourites.
You're in for a good episode then.
I am.
So I want you to just describe the process a little bit. And first of all, what is an evaluation process and what does it look like?
So an evaluation, an appraisal, a couple of different names. It's just really getting the value of your trade-in or your car. You know, so a lot of people have got no idea what their car's worth, like absolutely no idea what their car's worth. And to try and get a good indication of what your car's worth is really hard to do. We offer, we're very upfront and transparent. I have been for a long time around this with trade-in valuations. To give you an idea, so really we look at the car, we get the information required off the car, and we give you what we think is as the price, and depending what it might be, if it's a wholesale price or a trade-in price, on where it sits in the market at the time for us to own the car. You know, so a lot of people say, is that your trade-in price or your wholesale price? And again, that little bit of knowledge is dangerous. It isn't. It's just what we think the car's worth in that current market.
Yeah.
You know, or what we're prepared to pay for it to do business. You know, so or even for us just to buy the car. So yeah, we do these. We do the appraisals, which we even do online. I do it through my Instagram, through LDC the Carman with Trade In Tuesdays. We do it through there. We do it through our service department, or we do it through the newer used car process.
So how do you work it out? So I know it's based on market, and I guess that would change as the market changes as well. But what are the couple of things that you look at when you evaluate these new cars?
So the things we look at, and you're right, it's a really good point because it changes. The key thing that you said there was it changes all the time. So you can't really have, and I know they do it online, and I know that people do it through Red Book and Glasses Guide, is they have these set prices. Now, the market moves all the time. And the market, especially over this last 12 months, I reckon the market moves weekly. And what a car is worth today doesn't necessarily mean it's worth that in a month's time or a week's time. You know, you go back, 10 or 15 years ago, and you could price a car and it might be a Mazda 6. That car was worth the same amount of money for 6 months, and it was almost like, oh, hang on, now it's worth this. But the market today is changing daily. So
is that because stock wasn't moving?
Stock wasn't moving, but again, the market was different. The automotive market back then, it was very old school, and it probably wasn't a true indication. It was set in a way of, oh no, this is a set price and that's a set price, and people still operate that way. And there's people right now that might refer to their Glasses Guide or Red Book or their valuations, and they're not offering you the true value. They might give you $5,000 because that's what they've always given, but that car may be worth $6,500 or $7,000 in today's market. So I think it's really important and relevant to move with the market. To what we look for to trade the car or to do the appraisal: age, kilometres, make, model, so automatic or manual, general condition of the car. Does it need registration? What's the tyre condition like? Mechanically, what's it okay? Service history, we'll be able to tell from the service book. And general wear and tear, how well the car presents. And, you may get a car that might be a 2015 Mazda 3 done 30,000 Ks. And it might be a perfect car, really well serviced, great condition. You can see someone's looked after it. That car may be the equivalent to 2018 done 30,000 Ks, but in really rough condition. That may need tyres, that hasn't got a good service history, that's a bit rough in the interior. So a lot of people think, it's the age and, and how many kilometres I've done. It really comes down to the condition of the car. So, but the key things we look for, the age of the car, kilometres, automatic, manual, the model, what accessories on the car, the general condition the car's in, what service history, etc.
And how can you touched on it briefly, and I want to come back to that, but how can people get a car appraisal? So I know we offer it through our service centre, even new car and used car, but Trade In Tuesday, so that's every Tuesday through your Instagram.
Yeah, it's been great. So my Instagram, I do a Trade In Tuesday, and we have the prompters on there, what you need: year, make, model, kilometres, a photo if you'd like to give a photo, and I'll come straight back to you with a price, and that's it. That's for what I think your car's worth in today's market.
Yeah.
We make it that easy. Also do it from a new car platform. You come in, you just want to get a trade-in price, used car platform. We also offer free appraisals or evaluations on every service car that comes in. So we, when we run our driveway service through our service department, we actually offer there, which is a non-cost. actually have one of our staff members that does a meet and greet every morning and says, look, Lauren, would you like your car, an evaluation done on your car today?
Yep.
And one of our sales team will do an evaluation on the car, and when you come pick the car back up that afternoon, we've got a written evaluation certificate for you of what your car's worth.
And that's good to know, because you may not be in a position right then and there to buy or think that you are, but then maybe it's that moment where you go, okay, now you need to reevaluate because it's worth more than
the
what
other
you thought.
side of it too, Loz, is that in your head you might think your car's worth 10 grand, you know, because you're not up to date. You're not living in the automotive land, you know. You're not there doing cars every day. So in your mind you think, oh, it might be worth $10,000 or $11,000, and then we get the evaluation done, and it's free, so there's no hurt in doing it. And we come back and say we're 15 grand on the car. You know what, $15,000, actually, that's a lot better than what I thought it was. And then you look into it and you realise that you only owe $5,000 on the car. You've got $10,000 equity in there, and then all of a sudden you're looking at upgrading your car, which you never thought was possible. You know, so and that's what I'm saying with the market that's moving. The way things were 6 months ago is different today, and what your car may have been worth 6 months ago is different today, and what new car prices were may have moved. You know, so it's always I suppose it's. I do it a lot with real estate. I like to keep close to the market, and I follow, you know, pricing and what's up and what's down, just for general knowledge, you know, like I read the paper every day to keep up to speed. But with automotive, it's the same thing. It doesn't hurt, you know, to know what your car's valued at. Just for general peace of mind, for one.
Yeah, it's important to note that it's non-committal. Like, it's just great to
non-committal.
know.
And it's actually sometimes the prompt of the year, I go, Jesus, my car's worth far more than what I thought it was. I actually thought my car was worth nothing, but it's worth $5,000. You know, so it's really important. Hence why we've been running Trade-in Tuesday on my Instagram for a long period of time now, and I love it. I love it, you know, to give people the idea what their trade-ins are worth, and some people had no idea, you know, so actually that's a lot better than what I thought, and that can put me in a position to look at a new BT50 or a Mazda CX-5 or what it might be. So I think it's a great thing, and it's something that when I came into the industry a long time ago, you could never get. You could never get it, you know, and if you wanted to get a trade-in price, you had to jump through 45,000 hoops to get it. You know, you're that exhausted by the end of it, you've forgotten what your trade-in price was, you know, so...
Too exhausted to buy and sell a car.
It's straight up front now, and that's the way we operate. Not everyone operates the same way, but that's my mantra here, is that we're very, very transparent, and you deserve to know what your car's worth.
And it's interesting, because we were talking about this before we started recording, and I really wish the mics were rolling for this conversation, but I mean, we talk about it all the time, that there's a lot that sets what we do apart from the competition.
Yes.
But I didn't realise that this was one of them. I did not realise that it's actually not this easy to get your car evaluated anywhere else.
This is probably the biggest stigma in automotive, and probably my biggest frustration. And I grew up in it. So when I first came across into new car sales, you couldn't be transparent. You weren't allowed to give a trade-in price. You weren't allowed to really give a changeover price or a new car price. Because if you gave away information, people would go and use it. But to me, it didn't make sense. I'm thinking, well, if I've built enough faith and trust in the customer, and I'm actually showing that I'm genuine and I'm honest, I'm reputable, and the customer doesn't like the information I've got, that's more on me, not on the information.
Yeah.
So it was a whole change of mindset for me. But the more I digged into new cars or into that automotive industry, I found out that was it. That's what you did. You know, you didn't give away values of cars. So even today's market, I can confidently say that you could travel from dealership to dealership to dealership and ask what your trade-in's worth. And you are going to have to go through a mission and a battle to come out there with a trade-in price. And really, it's not being upfront. It's not being transparent, whereas I'm the complete opposite, you know. And this is the thing that we've run through our showroom for such a long period of time, is we need to be upfront. You deserve to know what your car's worth, and it's something to say, okay, well, this is what your car's worth, and be confident in saying it, you know. And if and I guess it's a bit of a tricky one, because it has been that stigma for such a long period of time, and it has been the way of doing things. It's so hard to give a trade-in price. People didn't really know, so they're a bit cagey about it also. And they're like, well, I just want the best price. Well, you tell me what it's worth, you know, because the customer was almost scared that we're going to give them more than what their car was worth.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to nominate a price just in case you gave them an extra $500.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this. But it's the way it's been for a long, long time. And we do our very best, and I'm doing my best from this end to make sure we change that. So anyone that comes in here, we can be very, very upfront and give them a changeover price, or give them a price of their trade-in, or give them a price on the new car straight up front. without having to go through the 100-point step to get there, so
it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had no idea it wasn't normal, and I think it really leads back into what you promote as the dealer principal as well, is leading from the top, where you have to breed transparency and trust. Correct. And that comes down to relationship Correct. That you have with all of your staff, and you can see walking into the showroom that they do have that, whether it's new car sales, used center or whatever. They genuinely want to have a really great relationship with their customer. Absolutely. And do what's best
and that's
for
them. What it's about. And I guess this comes back to it again, as the old school, it's us versus them, and you can't trust your car salesperson, they're going to rip me off. And you're right, that's the way it used to be. And when I came into the industry, it was very much that case. It was not so much the ripping off part, but it's the lack of transparency, the lack of information. And it was this battle, it was us versus them, and you go first and then I'll have my going. And
don't show your cards.
Yeah, and saying it out loud now sounds so silly, doesn't it? It sounds like such, to me, unapplied time, and and a waste of time. But and the mental battles that you go through during the day with no result,
Yeah.
So
it's also starting the relationship off on a bad.
Yeah, it does, and that was what created the us versus them.
Yeah.
And it was you're the salesman, you work for me, and and the salesman, well, the customer, they're being rude to me, or they're arrogant towards what they want, they're demanding this, and I'm like, yeah, they are, because you're not giving it to them, So it came a point in the dealership where I made that change, and I made it a very clear rule of thumb that we give trading prices, we give the prices up front. You don't have to jump through all these hoops to get that information. And what I found is that the salespeople, as much as they agreed, they didn't feel comfortable because they didn't have the faith, and because they were so used to doing their own thing of not or playing that game and not being transparent, they didn't feel comfortable because they thought the customer was going to take that information and run.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of training in there and saying, well, the customer has every right to do what they want. They're the customer. But the only reason why a customer would get up and leave is if they didn't feel comfortable with you, they didn't feel either you were being honest or direct or trustworthy or transparent. And if you build all these things in the customer and it becomes a fantastic experience and you're upfront and it is really, really transparent, there's no need for them to leave. And that was the philosophy I adapted and the mantra that we brought into the dealership. And I've had the sales team here for a long, long time. They all believe very, very heavily in that. And they're very, very passionate about it, that we give the customer the ultimate customer experience.
Yeah.
And to get that ultimate customer experience, you need to get that 5-star service of transparency. And that all starts from the very front of what's my car worth? Can I go for a test drive? And getting yes, 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 because we want to have a lot of fun doing it. Because really the salesman, they're paid on commission. A salesman that spend 2 or 3 hours, with a customer, that they want to do that. Yeah. They want to spend that time because they want to build a relationship. They want to have a good time. It's not in the customer's best or the salesperson's best interest to get no information because they're going to get nothing back.
Yeah, true.
And if you're talking to 10 people a day and you're getting nothing from it, there's nothing really to take home at the end of the day, is there?
You're busy with no result.
Apart from a heavy headache.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been one thing that we've done for a long, long time. I'm proud of it. The salespeople are proud of it. And that's by being that with the ultimate goal of is the ultimate customer experience.
You see that everywhere in here, which is awesome. But I think there's a lot to really consider there when it comes to people out there who are thinking, oh, actually, maybe this has triggered a thought of, I actually don't know how much my car's worth.
Such an interesting one. And it's where it all starts. Where it all starts. So, and I think the most common question I've had over the period of time of the close to 30 years of selling cars is that, what's my car worth? What's my car worth? What do you think my car's worth?
Yeah.
Do you think I'd get 10 grand for my car? How much would my car be worth as a trade-in? So it's the first thing in the forefront of people's minds. So, yeah, if I can offer a way to make that easier and give that trade-in price, and I wish everyone else would think the same way, because it'd take away a lot of the burn from the customers and a lot of that wall that they come up with because they're so protective they don't want to give you any information because of what's happened in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change the way that we're buying and selling cars. That was a really interesting episode, and again, that's another one I could have talked for hours on, and pretty passionate about it if you couldn't tell. If you want to know more about that, or if you want to know more about, I don't know, not the tricks in the trade, but around trading process, what your car's worth, or even the process of how it works, it'll be lovely to have a chat. To find out more, follow the links in the description below.